Hey everyone, I have a review for you today of The Little Prince, written and illustrated by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. And this is a really simple book, but also super profound. If you've never heard of it before, it's a classic French novel that has been translated into many different languages. And it's quite simple. It's a very short read. It also has some really nice illustrations that keep things moving along. And the illustrations are definitely enduring. So when you're reading this, you'll see all these strange looking pictures, but then by the end of the book, you're like, wow, I really like that illustration style. So I'm going to read you what the book's about, and then I'm going to get into my thoughts about the book. The little prince lived alone on a tiny planet no larger than a house. He owned 3 volcanoes, 2 active and 1 extinct. He also owned a flower, unlike any flower in the galaxy, of great beauty and of inordinate pride. It was this pride that ruined the serenity of the little prince's world and started him on the interplanetary travels that brought him to Earth, where he learned finally from a fox the secret of what is really important in life. And this is, like I said, it's a book you could read to children and they could really get a lot out of it, but it's also a book that adults can read and get something completely different out of. It is definitely really profound. Very few books I'm reading, I kind of get emotional throughout it, and this one, it really forces you to get emotional along with the story. And it's so poetic. The way that it reads is really poetic. You can flip to almost any page and just point to a line and read it, and it sounds like verse. The characters in the book are, for the most part, likable. Some of the planets that the little prince visits, the characters are really extremely annoying, but it goes to illustrate the point that the author's trying to make. And I do think that if you're even slightly interested in French culture and French language, you have to read this. And even if you're not, this is a super quick read. My edition is just a flimsy little paperback, but you can get really nice editions of this. I just really recommend that everybody read this because it's something you can knock out in a few hours if you're a slow reader, or even quicker if you're a fast reader. But I think that this book is really important because it teaches so many lessons, and it's one of those that I could read over and over and get something different out of it each and every time. I think most people who read this get something different out of it each and every time because the story itself, it makes you think. Like, you can't read this without having to stop and say, what does this necessarily, what is it implying? I know what it says on the surface, but what is it implying? You have to think when you're reading this book, and I really highly recommend it. Can't say enough good things about it. Be sure to check out the link in the description for a great deal on this book. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know what you think about The Little Prince if you've ever read it. I'll see you guys later.